Hello and welcome to video number 8. We're going to talk about text versus HTML emails. Now it's time to get the email series that you made and set it up onto your autoresponder. But before we can do that, we need to set up plain text emails or HTML emails. Now you might be asking, why does that matter? Well, HTML emails allow you to really track within your autoresponder your open rates, while plain text emails, they'll allow you to track the actual links themselves if somebody clicks on the links, but you really can't figure out if somebody actually opened the email unless you use HTML based emails. So before we can actually set things up on the autoresponder itself, I have to show you how to go about the process of creating HTML emails. Super easy, doesn't take a lot of time. Now, there is a big debate as to whether text will get better delivery rates compared to HTML. But we found that at the end of the day, if you can use HTML emails, great. If you have to stick with plain text, that's fine. So either way, I want to show you how to create both so that whatever route that you take, you can actually figure out how to set things up correctly. So this is actually very, very easy to do. First things first, plain text email. All you have to do is simply open up Notepad and put your subject line in, and of course your body of your text, and you're done. The HTML emails, you need to have the plain text first because we'll need that in hand when we actually put it into the HTML editor. Now, to keep things simple, I'm going to be using Composer, which is actually very, very good. It's a HTML editor. It's free. And all you need to do is simply go to google.com, type in KOMPOZER, and you'll find this right here. So KOMPOZER.net. So it's not .com, it's .net. And when you get here, you can simply download it and install it. Now, they do have versions other than Windows. So if you click on downloads, you'll be able to see that they also have different languages, other versions for Windows, Mac, and Linux. So that pretty much covers everybody. So go ahead and do that now. And if you want to pause this video now and install it and resume it, because I'm going to show you how to use it in just a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Composer here. Click on Run. And this is what it looks like. Very, very simple, easy to use. As long as you understand how to use Microsoft Word, it's pretty much the same. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take this email that we have created as far as plain text email. We're going to take the body of it. You don't need to take the subject line because the subject line will be entered typically in the autoresponder itself. So you take the actual body of the email from the plain text, you simply copy it, you paste it, and you're pretty much almost done. So what we need to do is we can make it bigger. We can change the font if you want to. So we can change this from Times New Roman to something like Arial. And for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to make it big, but obviously smaller is good. Not too small, but small enough. And what you want to do is you're going to have the replay link here, right? So you're going to highlight that, or you can highlight any text if you want to. So we're going to highlight this. You want to click on link here. And then, of course, you want to type in http://www. Whatever your domain that you're going to send them to is. And the URL. And typically, I like to click on link is to be open in a new window. So when they click it, they will actually open up in a new window. So that's that. You can also bold specific words, and that's what I would recommend. Bold specific words like benefit angle if you can. bold the letters right above the links would be good, like that. But you don't want to bold too much because then you over bold everything. You also want to use highlights as well if you can. So if you say it's a huge time saver, we could highlight that. We could click on this little icon here, which allows us to choose highlight color for text. So we can choose something like yellow, press OK. And as you can see, we put a highlight behind it. And really very, very simple, but you can change the color. You can change the background color, which I don't recommend that you do. You want to keep it kind of white background, black words, simple, easily readable, bold, italicized. You can italicize words. You can underline them. You can also make it left aligned, center aligned, but I generally speaking like to keep it left aligned. Now, when it comes time to actually copying this over, you want to go to the source tab and you want to copy this and then copy that into the autoresponder wherever it asks you to enter the HTML code. So that's where you would get the code, and that's it. So now that you're done with this, we can move on to the next video, and I'll actually show you how to set things up properly within GetResponse. And keep in mind that you can apply this to Aweber, to Entreport, as long as you understand the basics. Once you understand the basics, you can apply that to other autoresponder services. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 2, and we are going to discuss delivery platforms. In other words, how are you going to deliver your webinar replay? Now, there are 2 different ways of delivering your webinar replay. And the first way is by kind of mimicking a live experience by utilizing some high-end software tools. Now, the first one is called EverWebinar, and EverWebinar does cost a good amount of money. It's about at least $1,000. And what it allows you to do is allows you to mimic a live experience, whereas it's not really live. So what it allows you to do is think about this. Your prospect comes in at any given time and you set something up on EverWebinar. And it allows you to kind of make it so that your prospects, as they watch, questionnaires, polls come out of the blue at a certain timestamp that you specify. Or when it comes to your pitch, you can have certain buy buttons come out so that your prospects will be able to engage and interact with you, whereas you're really not on the live webinar. It'll have chat up. It'll basically make it look like it's live when it's actually not. So sometimes that experience can work, and sometimes that experience can actually hurt you depending on who your audience is. Now, we've actually done some tests, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. Now, if you can't afford EverWebinar, there is another software that you can use called Webinar Geo. That's Webinar Geo. So basically what Webinar Geo does is it does it a lot more than EverWebinar without the high ticket price. So really what it comes down to is with Webinar Geo, it allows you to record your live webinar, allows you to take that live webinar, download it, and you can also automate it and kind of create a fake live experience similar to EverWebinar. But of course, EverWebinar has a lot more features, but Webinar Geo allows you to do that as well. And we were able to kind of work out a 40% off discount for you. And if you want to check it out, this is not available to the public. You can go to checkthisoutRightNow.net/webinar geo discount. Now, the second way of delivering your webinar is just straight up autoresponder. No worry about having to create or mimic a live webinar. Simply put, you can simply set it up utilizing systems such as GetResponse, Aweber, or Entreport. It has a lot of tracking and statistics that you can actually use to improve your business. But the only major problem is that Ontraport costs $297 per month, whereas GetResponse or Aweber kind of starts at $25, $35 or more, and it progresses from there. So you obviously will save a lot of money by going with GetResponse or Aweber versus Ontraport. But if you have a little bit of money, I would definitely recommend going with Ontraport because you can do a lot more. And we found that the inbox delivery rate, in other words, the emails getting to your prospects' inbox, is a lot higher. So now that you know what is available to you, I really want to jump straight in, talk about the actual email autoresponder series, because if you really think about it, the secret to conversions is in your autoresponder follow-up email series. It's not really in the software that you use. And now, through our testings, we actually found that GetResponse, Aweber, or Ontraport, or even straight autoresponder series actually work really well when it comes to highly technical audiences. Now, if your audience is not highly technical, you might want to go with something like EverWebinar or Webinar Geo. But bottom line, really what it comes down to is your email course itself, because that's going to be how you gain trust, how you build trust, how you talk about your product's benefits, and how they actually are beneficial to your prospect. So with that said, let's move on to video number 3 and talk about the email course formula.